Hey guys, we finally got to the last part in this series on the knight h3 opening. We're going to be looking at the main line with d3. It's possibly the most critical way for white to play the Trojan knight opening. I'm going to recommend, as with d4, to play a6. I'm not going to look at all the same lines that I looked at after d4 because generally black responds in the same way against moves like g3 and h4 with always with e5. And it's best just to watch that video and just see how black gets play against the various options. I'm just going to focus on the lines where d3 makes a difference instead of playing d4. So knight c3, take that being the main move, and e5. This is the same continuation as if the pawn was on d4. The main difference is that in the line after knight takes d5 and taking the bishop, white plays the same queen h5 move, which is sort of a little finesse over the immediate knight moves, as if the knight moves in immediately. Similarly to in the d4 variation, queen h4 is a little bit annoying, and this g3 sort of weakens the like squares around the king side, which gives this c8 bishop some entry points. So after the queens get swapped off, bishop h3 is a possible move here. Black has some good play, or you could also play knight f6, and then after h3, knight e4, or if f3 then bishop h3 again is an interesting idea. So that's why white plays queen h5 first, just to stop this play over here, and after g6 now knight d5. And this is the main difference from the d4 variation, is that knight d5 here is a good move because there's no pressure on the d4 square. And if the pawn was on d4, black could always have ideas to capturing here, but now that threat doesn't exist, so this knight d5 move is a lot stronger. Okay, so queen h4. I should also mention knight b5, I suppose. This is probably quite similar to the line with d4 and then knight b5, and black just generally getting play and keeping the bishop out of the queen side. So blocking the bishop from coming into e2, taking here, and black's pretty reasonably placed. You can cover any knight b5 to a7 to c8 ideas by simply developing the knight to e7 if ever white plays knight a7, and it should be doing alright there. Material's equal, so unless white has anything immediately threatening, then black should be fine. So knight d5, the critical move. Queen h4 is pretty much forced, and now capturing, and now the move knight f6 is the important move. So this is threatening to come into g4 and e4. If white captures here, then obviously he's got nothing. Rook takes a2, black's better. So white has to try and keep this strong knight here and play f3. Now black has a couple of options. One of them is rook takes a2. Now if it's black's move again, he's going to simply capture the knight and swap off the knights. So knight takes c7 is one option to grab a pawn, and then, but then after bishop b4, c3, e4, black's almost certainly going to achieve a draw by pawnetization. Simply, if you look at the pawns that he's got on the light squares already, and white has this dark squared bishop. If, for example, white plays d4, this knight can simply capture the pawn when it comes to d5. Maybe castles here. Black's almost certainly going to achieve a draw without any problems. The other option is to play knight takes d5. Now this is after a4, stopping black from capturing on a2. White again has a slight material advantage here, but the two bishops give black some good play. So after e4, this is quite a useful move, threatening to open up certain files and also block this e-pawn, so it's a little bit more difficult for white to develop the c1 bishop. And black will always have good drawing chances by pawnisation if the worst comes to the worst, but in the meantime he should have some pretty decent counterplay against white. So I think that's all I'm going to look at with d3. Hopefully the series of videos have given you some new ideas on the Trojan Knight opening for black or white, and yeah, see you in another video soon.